This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
I am Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I'm a little shaken up.
How so?
I'm shaken up like a can of...
Paint.
Paint can. You shake up cans of a lot of things, huh? Well, if you're a stinker, you're shaking up soda cans, right?
And Tim, if there's one thing you know, I am a stinker.
Yeah.
I'm always shaking up soda cans at the supermarket till they kick me out.
This isn't what I was about to talk about, but if you'll allow me one digression this episode.
I'll indulge you.
And
then right back on topic.
I saw a little stinker on the subway today.
Uh-huh.
And it was like a 12 or 13-year-old stinker.
Yeah.
It was just this boy in
prime stinker age.
Yeah, it wasn't a tank top. It was a T-shirt with cut off sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a crew cut, and he walks on the train.
Sounds like a stinker.
And I was like, what a little stinker. And he pulls out of his back pocket.
A gun.
No, he pulled out a joke book. And I was like, this little stinker's all right.
Yeah.
It was like 101 great jokes, and he just sat down. It was a little crowded, and he squeezed in to sit down, because when you're a little stinker, you can do that. And not feel little stinkers feel no shame. You know this, Tom?
Yeah, of course. That's part of what makes them a stinker.
Yeah.
Did you leave the subway later and go, "Where's my wallet?" That little stinker took my wallet.
No, he was laughing. He was reading.
And in place of your wallet, there was a joke book, and you were fine with it.
No, that joke book. Well, here's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I had a million joke books when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how you became so funny.
I don't know one joke. Could you tell me a joke? I don't know any jokes.
No, and I've been in situations where because of this thing we do, people are like, tell me a joke. And usually I'm like, it's not really, it's not like a joke telling podcast, although that would be amazing.
It's a truth telling. Oh man. We should just come armed with jokes next week.
But then every once in a while I'm like, you know what? Usually 10 minutes later I'm like, you know what? I do have a good one for you. And then I'll tell the joke and they're like, it's not a very good joke.
Yeah. Yeah, no, never tell anybody a joke on request. Yeah. And also
you could but you know what I have to get better at and more fluid with is that if somebody says, tell me a joke, I'd be like, I can't tell you a joke. What I can do is some sleight of hand magic for you.
I wish I knew sleight of hand magic. I know the mechanics of a lot of magic tricks.
Oh, but it's all just practice, man.
Yeah, and I don't have that kind of time.
We should sequester ourselves in a motel room. When people are like, yeah, we locked ourselves away to finish this script. We should do that, but just with card tricks.
Yeah, and we'd each learn 3 card tricks.
Yeah, but we'd be real good at them.
Yeah. How long do you think you'd have to be sequestered in a hotel to have 3 David Blaine level card tricks? And none of the fancy stuff.
I don't have to come up with them.
You don't have to come up with them, and it doesn't have to be and then the punchline is a cab is driving by and you pull out the cab driver and lift up his shirt and the 3 of clubs is painted on his chest.
Well, why not? That sounds like an amazing trick.
Yeah, but that's not something you can perfect in a hotel room.
Will somebody show me how to do the tricks, or I have to learn them out of a book?
Well, you could learn them from videos.
I have a coach.
I bought a couple videos of how to do magic tricks.
I'm laughing, but I've done the same. Not recently, but
I did this about 6 months ago, and they're easy tricks to perfect.
Why are you buying them 6 months ago? I'm talking about when I was 13. I did this.
Yeah, no, I bought them 6 months ago.
Go on YouTube.
No, these were high quality tricks.
These are VHS exclusives.
No, I didn't. I bought the way that online magic shops work now, Tom.
Don't lecture me about how online magic shops work.
Well, you said you haven't bought anything since you were 13.
I haven't
that was 45 years
anything,
ago.
But I've shopped around.
All right. Well, so you've been there. You know how alluring that can be, and they were having a sale. They sold 5 magic tricks that you didn't need any special props for, just normal household items.
Baking soda or whatever.
Yeah. One was, you can make a pretty realistic looking volcano, Tom.
Is this your volcano?
And so I watched the videos one time.
You know what? I take it back. If you poured water into a volcano and somebody's card came out, that would be a pretty good trick.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't be that hard.
No.
Mark that down for the hotel sessions. The motel sessions. We
Yeah,
don't have
come on.
money for a hotel
Yeah.
room. Cripes.
Mark that down for the halfway house sessions.
Yeah, so I would probably use those tricks that I've. So you can like get a video that like it's a 10-minute explanation where it shows you everything and like shows you every angle of what your hand should be doing at any point.
Nice.
Yeah, you're telling me that if I bought those 5 tricks on sale for like $9.99.
$999.
$999,000.
Okay.
But you're telling me that if I was like $10, Tom,
Uh-huh.
I'll send you these. You wouldn't be a little bit curious?
I'm not going to pay 10. I'm not going to pay 1 penny more than you paid.
What if you paid me $5?
Sure, then I'm in.
Okay, so stop mocking me for buying these tricks. I knew I'd flip half of them to you.
Oh, I only get half the tricks?
Well,
So
no,
wait,
no,
from-
half the. Well,
Oh.
you get 2.5 tricks.
So
You
have
see
you
the
learned
setup of one.
Have you learned any of these tricks?
I've seen them. I know how they work. And I know how everything works. I watch a David Blaine special, and I'm like, I know exactly how he did that.
Right.
It
makes it no less impressive.
My kid could do that. Yeah, and then it's just like, oh, he's a maniac that just like locked
because
himself
it's
in a
not,
room.
oh, I could do that. You're like, oh, no, I can't do that. That
I think I
requires...
could do that. If I took a year off
Mm-hmm.
and just like worked out a David Blaine special, I think I could do it.
Wait.
If I had to, and like they had like my family at gunpoint, and they were like, "You have to do a David Blaine level magic show in a year," I'd take the year off, I'd sequester myself, and I'd be like, "Well, I don't want my family to get."
You wouldn't call the police?
No, what's the fun in that?
That's true. That's not fun for you, your family, the captors.
Yeah, exactly. And I want a
In
clean
this
break.
hypothetical situation, who are these captors?
Who are the captors?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably Gary Sinise.
And they've taken your whole family, like your extended family.
Yeah, like 45 people.
Okay.
They
Cousins, people that are like, I don't even really know Tim that well. I haven't seen him in a few years.
Yeah. I don't know. Or, okay, well, maybe it's ISIS,
Right.
right?
Uh-huh.
And they've taken my family, and they're like, oh, no. They're like, but the bummer is I'd be like, I need to learn these tricks even quicker because I got my whole family, like, just sequestered, right?
Well, what you need is them to be like, just relax. You have a year.
Right.
You can do the tricks tomorrow, but we're still not going to release them for a year. So you might as well
okay.
take the whole year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would do that. And I think
They're
I
like,
think I'd
We're tough but fair.
hey, if I signed a contract, I have to
Well, why'd you sign a contract with ISIS in the first place?
Well, it was it seemed like a good deal at the time.
Right, you learned some. You just read the first page, like, oh, I get to learn some magic tricks.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm always trying to better myself.
Was this what you meant to talk about when you started?
No, I saw somebody get hit by a bike before,
Oh,
and it was bonkers.
it wasn't the stinker.
No, it was a lady who was
Okay.
decidedly not a stinker,
Right.
and it was a bonkers bike bonanza on Bedford Avenue, Tom. So you know the Hip Street in Williamsburg,
Bedford
Brooklyn,
Avenue.
not Virginia,
Yeah.
because that's Busch Gardens. That's the Hip Street in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Right. Well, it's Colonial Williamsburg.
What?
Well, that's
No,
what.
there's Colonial Williamsburg. It's like the boring part. That
Yeah,
like,
but like Williamsburg's Colonial Williamsburg. The
What?
other Williamsburg, Virginian Williamsburg is Colonial Williamsburg. What were you saying?
no. But here's how it works.
Uh-huh.
There's Williamsburg, Virginia,
Right.
And they have Colonial Williamsburg
Right.
there.
Yeah.
But also in Williamsburg, Williamsburg is big enough that it doesn't just encompass
I know, but it's still
Colonial.
That's like
and those stinkers, those big stinkers, the beer men from Bush.
Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, they were like, you know what we'll do? We'll build these huge roller coasters.
Yeah.
So when kids are when they're like dads who watched Ken Burns' Civil War documentary are like, I know what the family vacation's gonna be, Colonial Williamsburg.
Yeah.
And then like they can trick their kids into being like, okay, well, we have to go. These
Well,
people feed
trick
us
their
and
kids,
clothe us.
but
Then the kids are in the shadow of these big roller coasters.
Yeah.
And then Spuds McKenzie and the rest of the Anheuser-Busch crew are sitting there like, just wait, these kids will break their pops down.
So who have you got? You've got the Budweiser Frogs. You've got the What's Up guys. They're all in cahoots there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that they also have beer there. Another thing that dads love.
Yeah. And Spuds McKenzie's girlfriends are there, who are real life,
who are women,
human women,
women. Yeah.
Yeah. They all got together and they're like, yeah, we'll build these big roller coasters. So anyway. This woman gets hit by a bike while she's crossing the street.
Uh-huh.
We're all crossing the street together. Tom.
Okay.
As anyone is supposed to do when they see something bad happen.
Run away.
No. You think, that could have been me.
Right.
Not, I hope that person is okay. You think, dear God.
Oh, thank God that wasn't me.
That could have been me.
Yeah.
Now this is about me. But it wasn't about me, Tom. I think that's what everybody thought. This woman got smacked by a bike, and the guy came flying off the bike, and she fell down, and it was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
and we all went.
I've been in situations like that on a street corner where, like, it happened so fast, you're just like, what just happened? Like,
Yeah.
it seems like a bike fell out of the sky with a person on it.
Yeah. So they both fall down, and everybody's helping the woman up, and a couple scoundrels
and
are helping
kicking the biker.
No, here's the
Ah.
thing. This guy was blatantly running a red light in like a very crowded, and look, Bedford Avenue sucks. Like, people are always crossing against the light, like pedestrians.
Yeah.
But this was not ambiguous at all. Like,
Anyone traveling on a bike or a car down Bedford Avenue also should know,
Yeah.
like, you know what? I got to take it real slow here because everybody's a jerk and people are just jumping in front of your car all the time.
So this woman's all shaken up, and she like
All
she,
shook up.
Yeah, the
Was it
titular
Elvis that hit her?
Heroine in the Elvis song.
Well, let me ask you: when they were helping the biker up, was he like, "Oh, I'm fine," and it was Elvis.
No, he was like a scoundrel. He was like a grown-up stinker.
Well,
He had a joke books. Pages from this joke book went flying everywhere, raining down. Like leaves.
there are
in
a
the
lot
fall.
of rumors that Elvis is still alive today and a stinker.
Yeah, no, Elvis would be too old to be, because this guy was like a youngish shithead guy, right?
Okay.
And
in Williamsburg?
yeah, it's weird, right?
Huh.
So the woman's just like, yeah, thank you, everybody, but like, I'm gonna get on my way, because she, like, I think she just was like embarrassed and like
All
shaken
shook up.
all shook up.
Uh-huh.
She was listening to Elvis in her iPod earbuds.
Uh-huh.
She's like, I just want to hear the rest of this song that describes exactly how I'm feeling. But then this guy, like, people like put him back up on his bike, and we're like, you go. I was like,
pushed him off on his.
yeah, they're like, oh, congratulations, like, gave him a standing. But like, I was thinking, like, why don't I start a thing like, hey, fuck that guy, right?
Yeah.
Let's get him. Like, let's all start at least yelling at this guy and telling him what he did was wrong. This guy didn't learn a lesson.
So you walk around the streets thinking, hey,
Maybe I'll
why don't
incite
I start a
violence?
mob?
Yeah. Why
don't
didn't
I
we start?
incite a riot?
Look, if the proper authorities aren't going to come in
Yeah.
and stop this kind of stuff from happening, why don't we have mob rule?
Well, yeah.
It's what
People
I always
often
say.
say mob justice is the best kind.
Yeah, it's the
certainly
most
the
honest
fairest.
kind. Yeah. I didn't. And my question to you is, was I a coward for just being like, look, this whole situation seems to be over. I don't need to, like...
Well, I mean, as a general rule, if you're
I wasn't involved in any way.
if you're not involved,
I didn't even
stay out
help
of
the
it.
woman out, to be clear.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing. Like, if you really cared,
Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
saw her
help.
get hit. I was like, she's fine. She's faking
But
it.
let's get him.
Yeah. Yeah, but like,
But this might
it's
be
always...
my in to incite a mob.
When will I ever have the chance to incite a riot, Tom?
I mean, probably often. If this was just somebody getting hit in an accident that you weren't even involved in, like, you'll witness that again.
Oh, I hope not, Tom. How often do you witness things like that?
I've seen things like that all the time. Not all the time. Not enough that you should be suspicious, but enough. You'll see somebody get hit by a bike again.
Yeah.
Mark my words. All right, Tim. This week we're talking about how to disappear.
Oh, more magic.
No, not in a magical
We'll
way.
figure this out in the motel room while they have our families.
Wait a minute. What do you know? How come I'm involved now?
I started a thing with a biker. Turns out he was affiliated with ISIS, and things just went south from there.
They pushed a contract in front of me.
The
I
good
didn't
news
really
is
read
they're
it over.
big Magic fans. We have an out.
No, we're talking about how to disappear, from society, man.
Completely, man.
From the grid, man. Like
this is more than just going off the grid. Where
This
it's
is-
like, I
yeah.
don't want to pay my utility bills. Pay your utility bills, you dang millennials. Millennials are
Is
killing
that a
utilities.
new
Yeah, it's a
fad?
thing.
Millennials refuse to pay their gas bill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When
That
we,
is
when we
true.
were in our 20s and we were roommates. Do you think we ever paid our gas bill?
No, and actually, like when I moved into the apartment I'm in now, which I've been in for years, like when I went to get the gas turned on, they were like, "We actually have to send somebody there because that apartment hasn't had cooking gas for years." Like,
Apartment hasn't had cooking gas in 35 years.
I'm like, but there was a roast turkey waiting for me when I walked in.
When I moved into my current apartment,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't need to set up this gas account. The gas works. And then after 1 month of the day after I moved in, I was like, I'm going to fry me up some chicken cutlets.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, something's wrong with the stove. They turned off my gas
Yeah, you weren't paying it.
for 6 weeks. Yeah. But
Well-
since when has the gas company ever been up on anything that they were like, well, it's been exactly a month. We're going to turn it off. And then I
think
talked to
they're
the guy on the
pretty
phone.
Up on like if you don't pay them, they don't give you any more gas.
I think they're legally not allowed to turn it off for a certain it's like if people can't pay
Right.
right away,
or if there's
you're
a
not
mistake, then.
So I call up the gas company.
Do you have gas for like your heating and everything too, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I call up the gas company. It's like June 5th. And they're like, okay, we can come July 22nd to turn it back on.
I thought you were gonna say I called up the gas company and they said that was supposed to be a fart noise.
Yeah,
God, it's not very good.
yeah.
We'll edit in a better one.
Yeah, we'll get a little
Oh, I
stinker
edit this
to do
week.
it.
I'll put. Oh, you just heard an amazing fart noise.
Wow, Tom, what a great fart noise you did. You
Thank
just
you.
did that right here with your mouth?
Yeah.
Motor Mouth Jones style?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a fart noise is the one thing that everybody can Motor Mouth
I know,
Jones
but
themselves.
I gotta be close to the mic, and I've got some facial hair right now, so
Yeah.
that And I was trying to go big.
Yeah.
Look, I could do
Yeah.
that, but that sounds like a mouth fart noise. I was trying to make a real one.
Well, so I called up the gas company, and they
Mm.
were like, we can come in 6 weeks. And I was like, well, I gotta use. And they were like, well, you didn't set up your account or pay your bill. We wouldn't have had to turn it off
Mm.
if you responded to the letters that we sent you to set up your account. And I was like, okay, but 6 weeks is ridiculous. What if it was the winter and
Yeah, but
I
it's
needed
not.
this for heat? And the guy on the other end of the phone just went, well, it's not the winter.
Yeah.
And I just went touche. I'll see you the 22nd.
He could have been
He was a reasonable guy, and I couldn't fault him for
He
that.
could have been like, well, what if you were like, I don't want gas, and you just kept the gas up all the way, and you blew up the whole building.
Yeah.
Why were we talking about your gas bill?
I don't know. You started it, I think.
Anyway,
I
we're
think you
talk-
asked me about that time that I didn't pay my gas bill.
We're talking about how to disappear.
Yeah.
How to if you're in trouble with Johnny Law,
Or
or
if you're just sick of it.
sick of, or if you're in trouble with Johnny Law, or just sick of it all.
Yeah.
That doesn't rhyme.
No, I don't know why you.
Thought it rhymed.
You literally put your hands up to be like, Tim, stop talking.
Tim,
I
I
got
got
a
a
good
big one.
Yeah. This is gonna be bigger than the fart noise I made earlier.
Or you're just sick of it all. But
Maybe you should,
AWL.
Yeah, you're editing this week. Maybe
Yeah.
you could edit in a funny joke there.
I'll put in a W sound. Anyway, yeah. If you're just or maybe the mob's after you.
Yeah. I mean, if the mob's after you, it's probably because you've turned on the mob, right?
Maybe it's because you're married to the mob.
Well, don't get married to the mob. This is
Maybe
what I'm
you
like.
didn't
I don't
know.
want to blame the victim here, but like, stop getting married to the mob.
Yeah. If you're walking down the aisle and there's 20 guys waiting at the altar going, hey, oh, hey.
Yeah, and if you're climbing up a ladder and you feel something splatter.
So this is all about how to do that. Tim, have you ever thought about leaving it all behind, running away forever?
No, but like I think this appeals more to people with a spouse and children, where it's like,
Oh yeah, I'm just sick
I
of.
shouldn't have made all these decisions.
Well, and not to be confused with people who have secret families.
Oh yeah,
That's a different thing altogether,
But that
and
seems-
another future episode probably.
that seems so freak. Why? Because I'm getting married, and you're gonna assume that I'm gonna have a secret family and be able to speak from experience.
Hey, your
Is that
words,
what-
not mine.
Yeah, that seems having two families is a real sicko thing to do, huh?
Yeah, who wants that? One family is more than enough.
And you had to be pulling a Mrs. Doubtfire the whole rest of your life.
Well, you wouldn't bring both people to your favorite restaurant, Bridges.
Is that what it was?
That was the restaurant.
Wow,
That
Tom,
was
good pull.
Sally Field's favorite restaurant.
Hmm.
Anyway, Tim, I've been reading this book, more accurately listening to a book on tape, about...
I only listen to podcasts. More specifically, I only listen to this podcast.
Good.
So you've been listening to this book.
I've been listening to this book, and it's all about... it's written by a former CIA agent.
What's his name?
Boy, wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you and Vladimir Putin like to know, Tim? No, and actually,
Vlad.
this book is that's what Obama called him, apparently.
Really?
Yeah,
Like,
he would
to
call him
his face?
Vlad, like on the phone. He'd be like, Vlad.
He's a charming guy.
Yeah.
Listen, Vlad.
Well, and also, you're not going to call somebody a 3-syllable name when
Vladimir.
when there's a short version.
Yeah. I don't like people who are like if I, like, you know those guys, like, there are guys that are like, my name is Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, Tim, nice to meet you. It's like, no.
No, it's Timothy.
I mean,
Timothy's
honestly-
a rare one, actually. Yeah,
yeah.
like I've met Thomases.
Yeah, but that's 2 syllables.
Yeah, well, not when it's multiple.
Not when it's plural, but this is me and my other friend named Thomas. Please call us Thomases.
Yeah, doubting Thomases, peeping Thomases. Anyway,
Man, are there any like
Peeping
peeping
Thomases?
duos?
peeping duo.
You know, right? Like that's a thing that you don't want to get involved with. That seems like a solitary
would a-
crime.
Yeah, how would a peeping duo work?
Oh, you both you help each other climb the tree. One of them boosts the other guy into the tree. The other guy pulls the second guy up. It's
Oh.
actually it makes the whole peeping process easier, but a little more awkward.
When I think peeping duo, I'm thinking more like, like a lady's drying her back with a towel, and one guy's like, "Oh, I don't see anything," but then his partner's on the other.
Oh, they're on opposite
Yeah,
windows.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm eating it up."
That's good because they can give each other like thumbs up
Yeah,
through the
Don't
house.
worry,
Yeah.
I got it. I
Yeah.
got to see
Yeah.
something.
And it's nice if as long as you're on good terms and both of you understand, like, look, maybe some of you are gonna get more of a show than
You
the
win
others.
some, you lose
Yeah.
some in the peeping game.
Yeah, she might turn around, she might not. But the main thing we all have to remember is be very quiet.
That peeping Tom rule number 1.
Yeah,
Anyway,
quiet down.
this is not a book about peeping toms. It's just about like spy techniques and
Spy tech gear.
spy techniques you could do with spy tech gear. No, but I just got done reading this couple of chapters about like disappearing
Right.
when like shit just gets too hot and you're like, I gotta get out of here.
All right, now here's the thing. I think the majority of people will never be in that situation.
Right.
Where it's like, oh no, I've killed somebody. Like maybe accidentally, but I
and-
gotta get out of here, right?
Right. And most people that are in these situations, it's still like preferable to like, go to the authorities before.
Right.
But maybe you can't. Maybe they're corrupt.
Like if I wanted to get away
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, if I was like, I wanted like,
Right.
Now, would it entail faking your own death? It might if you didn't want your loved ones to like have the rest of their lives being spent in pursuit of finding.
Well,
right?
that's the biggest. That's the thing that trips up most people.
Right.
Is if you're serious about disappearing, you gotta
cut your ties.
Literally disappear.
Yeah.
Like you have to not tell anything to your loved ones. Let them worry themselves to an early death about what happened to you. Because otherwise, people will get to them and they'll find out where you are.
I think I'd rather fake my death because like then it would be like
then there's closure.
There's closure, and then it's not like I know that they're waking up every day being like, well, now to start the search for Tim again. And it's also like, and I don't want them to find me. And it's like, stop it, you're getting too close. And then I always have to be looking over my shoulder. Yeah. Like a Jason Bourne type. I don't understand.
Oh, Mom, stop trying to find me. God.
Found me again. All right. Close your eyes.
I want to talk about up top some of the biggest cases that we know about. Well, I mean, the first one, this is somebody who potentially legitimately got away, D.B. Cooper.
Dabney Coleman.
Not Dabney Coleman. D.B. Cooper. Dabney Coleman's still on everyone's radar.
Yeah, thankfully.
D.B. Cooper is the guy who got on a plane and then held the plane, hijacked the plane, and landed it, demanded $200,000.
The gentleman's hijacker.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't use violence or anything.
He only used the threat of it.
Yeah.
That's not if that's a crime, then lock me up.
Well, they will one day, God willing. He landed.
Threatening violence on an airplane is a crime.
Oh,
then
well.
I guess I'm a criminal.
He landed the plane. He told him land the plane and give me $200,000 and 4 parachutes, and then take off again. But low and slow, baby, because I'm parachuting out of this MFer. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did.
Did he say the actual words? Mother effer?
Probably. He was a criminal.
Yeah.
But
real dirtbag.
But
he was wearing a suit and he was clean shaven, right?
Yeah. And they found some of the money like in a river one day. But other than that, nothing's ever been found. Nobody knows what actually happened, if he got away or not.
I could not be more bored with the story of D.B. Cooper.
Well, I'm glad I told it.
Everybody's so fascinated by like, what do you think happened? Who cares? Either he died and got like eaten by a bear because it was like the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or he like got away and he was just like some shitty guy living in like Mexico or like Costa Rica. Great. Well done, D.B. Cooper.
So then let me bring up the other famous.
I didn't mean to shut you down.
No.
It's no
actually
fun if you don't fight back. Now I just feel like a jerk.
No, I actually kind of agree.
Yeah.
Like I don't have it's super interesting, but like that's where the story stops. Everything beyond that is speculation.
And the thing is, it's not super impressive because it's not like he used an alias when he got on the plane.
Right.
So like if
that was
it was
before
like,
you needed ID or anything.
Yeah. So if it was like a guy that like we know a lot about this guy's life beforehand or whatever.
But this is all anyone knows about.
Came out of the ether and receded back into the. He's probably a ghost if we're being honest.
Yeah. Never considered before, but might be the case.
Yeah.
The other one.
Has there been a movie made about a haunted airplane, like a ghost that haunts an airplane? I think that.
I'm sure. Right.
I think that's fertile ground. If not.
Well, I mean, there's the Twilight Zone with the gremlin on the wing.
That's not a ghost. You yelled at
It's
me
a
for calling
gremlin.
a poltergeist a ghost.
Well, and I will again.
But now you're saying a gremlin is a
no,
ghost?
No, but I'm saying a gremlin's scarier than a ghost. Nobody's ever been.
A gremlin you can strangle.
No. Tim,
we're not talking about the movie Gremlin, because
Right.
like if he's out of there on the wing in the daylight, he would just put it in fried.
Yeah, but it was nighttime. But Tim, to quote you, a ghost has never killed anyone, which beg to differ. But gremlins have killed plenty of people.
This is true. Touche. You got me there, Tom.
If you walked into a room, say you were all alone, you walked into a room, which would you rather there be in that room, a ghost or a gremlin? A ghost might just disappear.
A gremlin. Because I've walked into a room and there's been a bat in there. And you know what you can do? You can close the door and get out of there and then go to everybody and be like, there's a bat in there. We got to do something about it. A ghost, who knows? That goes right through the door.
Yeah.
Like you can, a gremlin has to adhere to the rules of the physical universe.
Yeah, but if somebody closed the door, if you said there's a gremlin in there, close the door, the first thing somebody's going to do is open up the door to see if
but
what
I'm
you're
not
talking
there.
about.
Yeah.
but I'm already half a mile down the road.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And like I'd be like, seriously, don't open that door.
Mm-hmm.
Call the authorities.
It's called the gremlin
Or
hunters.
just burn down the house.
Yeah. Always an
But
option.
if you burn down the house, that's just going to agitate a ghost because they're going to be like, this was the house I grew up in as a little girl.
Or you're just going to add more ghosts if, somebody's
Yeah,
trapped in there you don't know about.
Yeah.
And then you've got a gremlin ghost to worry about, the worst kind.
Oh, that's true.
The other story, historical story, I mean, it's not historical, but that I wanted to talk about, of somebody who disappeared, but this person only disappeared for so long, was Whitey Bulger.
Did he went off? I didn't watch that movie with Doofus McDoof.
Who?
Johnny Depp.
Oh,
John
yeah.
Depp.
I forgot that he made a movie about Whitey.
Yeah.
Why did he make?
I don't know. They put a bunch of
prosthetics on.
Yeah, he was like, I know how. Like, it's Whitey Bulger beat up women too, right?
Yeah, so
he's
that's
like,
maybe why he was like, oh yeah. But I mean, Whitey Bulger was like 65-ish when he like went on the lam.
See.
So why? Yeah, that doesn't make.
Yeah.
Like I get it if it's like, oh, he was 50, like Johnny Depp when he went on the lam.
So what did he do when he went on the lam? Because like he had a network, right? So this isn't like traditional disappearing, like get rid of all your things. Like he had a network of like underlings that could hide him.
Yeah, because he was a Boston mob guy.
Right.
He's
alive.
Yes, he's. I believe so. He's in jail now.
Yeah.
They got him. But he was
real stinker, that guy.
He was public stinker number one. But he was in the like Irish mob in Boston. In Boston, there's Irish everything. But he was informing about the Italian mob to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The FBI.
If you say so. But then one of these FBI handlers, like his handler, was the one who tipped him off, like, hey, they're going to come for you.
Oh, wow. What a scoundrel. What happened to that guy?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. So Whitey...
he's probably like assistant to the like freaking attorney general or something. Right?
Probably.
Like, hire this man. He let Whitey Bulger get away.
Well, I mean...
Perfect for our freaking cabal of ghouls that we've
right.
put together.
I mean, and it's a crazy thing. Like, I get that you're, an FBI agent. You're building...
Jeff Sessions like, is Whitey Bulger white? Like his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, you helped him get away? Cool. You're hired.
Yeah. Because, I get you've got to get close to a guy as an FBI agent to, like, get them to, inform for you. But at the same time, it's like, well, if they're going to get him, like, you don't need to tip him off because, like, he's not going to... If he's going to go on the run, then he's not going to be able to inform you about anything anymore. Like
maybe they fell in love.
He's done being useful.
Maybe he was like, I love him.
Well, so this is a crazy thing about the story, and I was trying to find more. I'm sure there is, but I just couldn't find it.
Probably in the Johnny Depp movie.
Probably. When he went...
We're like just reciting plot points from a movie that everybody saw and hated. And we're like, can you imagine? Can you believe this happened?
When he went on the run, he took his common law wife with him. And then...
Dumb move.
We'll get...
She'll turn on you.
We'll get into... You don't take anyone with you.
Yeah.
If you're going to get...
We're running out of time to get into these things, Tom, by the way.
All right. So... we'll get into it around hour 9.
Yeah.
He took this his wife with him, and then all they did was they just ran to Florida, And then she was like, I don't want to do this. I want to be with my family. He's like, all right. He left her in a parking lot and then went and met up with like one of his mob guys who had brought his girlfriend down from New York.
They always got more than one, huh?
Yeah. How much would you have to love somebody who like you're a mistress to, or mister in your case, that you would be like,
nice mistress,
hey, you know what? Yeah, sure. I haven't done a single thing wrong, but I'll go on the run with you.
I would guess that it might not have been her choice.
No, it was like she's in jail right now.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
And not 100%. That they kidnapped her and brought her down?
Yeah, that like, you know, you're made an offer you can't refuse, right?
Yeah. I see. Mob stuff.
Yeah, mob stuff. Where it's like, he's like, bring me this woman, and his underlings are like, oh no, she doesn't want to.
But no, she wanted to. Because she she didn't turn on him during she refused to speak during like all this, like
Did
the
they
trial
check
and everything.
to see that she had her tongue?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They probably look in your mouth when they arrest you, right?
They pinched her and she went, ow.
Oh.
And they were
she
like,
can
oh,
talk.
she can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, standard police
Yeah.
pinching.
Person with tongue says what?
Huh?
You what? You do have a tongue. We proved it in a court of law.
But Whitey Bulger,
I rest my case.
actually, I mean, I'm sure I don't know a bunch about this because he had to have had like a crazy network because
We should see this John Depp movie.
John Depp. Don't ever.
That's what I call him.
Have you seen the new John Depp picture?
Johnny is a boy's name. John is a man's name.
Well, Johnny is a boy who is abusive.
Yeah.
And a drunk and bad with money, the trifecta. So Whitey Bulger, he was on the lam, but he was just like not really on the lam because he had already, and maybe this will be a nice transition. Actually, before
the actual topic.
before I transition, I just want to talk about there was a confirmed report by an off-duty Boston police officer after a San Diego screening of The Departed, which led to a manhunt because some guy was like, yeah, I saw him in The Departed. I was on vacation, but The Departed came out, so of course I had to see it.
How the hell did your Boston accent get this bad?
That's a Nantucket accent now.
Cripes.
But anyway,
Wait, he went back to Boston to see the
No, he
that
saw it
movie
in
was
San
in
Diego.
wide release.
He was
okay.
in San Diego, but what I'm saying was a Boston cop was on vacation, but was like, oh, I got to see it. I can't wait till I get home. So anyway, that's why I want to get out there. But
I have a stomach ache from that. You're making me sick.
But Whitey was traveling around. He was like traveling the world.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where the transition was going to be. As we get into Tom's tips for disappearing off the grid, disappearing forever. He had spent years building up a fake identity. So when the time came to run, he had freaking safety deposit boxes around the country with like all the shit he needed, like his
money.
Identity, cash,
Yeah.
but then like documents and everything, and like he had spent so his fake identity was Thomas Baxter,
and real fake sounding name.
Well, I mean, when your real name's Whitey Bulger, but everybody calls you Jimmy for some reason, which is very confusing. Yeah. When I was reading all this, I had to keep looking.
Who the hell is Jimmy?
Yeah.
And since you're listening to the book, you had to hit rewind. You can just flip.
This
back
wasn't in the book. This was my own research.
Wow, Tom.
So he had already set up Thomas Baxter for years, and like joined organizations as Thomas Baxter and stuff. Yeah, things like that. Local like Lions clubs and Knights of Columbus as Thomas Baxter. So there was already like an established thing when he jumped into that identity.
Yeah, I wouldn't start another family, but I'd start another life just in case I needed to hop lives for a second.
Well, but what I'm saying then, Tim, is now is the time to start that other life.
Yeah.
Don't start it when you're in trouble. Like, Whitey knew that. He was like, no, I'll start it when everything's going great.
It's true. I'll make my name Thomas Baxter.
Well, no, Tim, you don't have to copy everything he did because they're going to...
Oh, that was his name. It's one of those things that I thought I heard and then I thought I made up myself.
I mean, honestly, though, they're not looking for a Thomas Baxter anymore. All right, Tim. The part everybody's been waiting for. The part, this is.
Yeah, we got a recounting of the Johnny Depp movie,
and
that
I didn't even
saw.
see it. I'm not talking about. Anyway, people are. Yeah.
You're wearing a John Depp shirt right now, Tom.
Stop calling him John
as,
Depp.
As Willy Wonka, as William Wonka.
There are people listening to this right now going, cut to the chase. The cops are outside.
Yeah, they're standing over their dead wife.
Listening to us talking about Johnny Depp for a while. The blood is seeping through the floorboards. The neighbors are going to start asking questions. All right, tips for disappearing. Like I talked about before, go alone.
I like to think of this as you haven't done anything terrible.
Right.
This is just you. You you're sick of it all, right?
Yeah.
Like you haven't. It's not like we're giving tips to somebody who's fleeing a crime right now, because that would be wrong. If you've committed a crime, turn yourself in. It's for the best.
Right.
Look, I'm your friend. The other guy here, Tom. Look, he'll throw the book at you. Just admit what you did to me, and everything will be fine. We'll work things out. But you don't want to get my partner here, Tom, all upset. Because God knows how he'll get out the phone book and punch you through it or something.
Yeah, so it doesn't bruise.
Yeah.
I would love...
I don't think they even check for bruises anymore. I think
Who's
they're just
gonna
like...
check?
No, like they used to be like, hey, was this person... abused in custody, and they're like, yeah, of course. Of course they were.
Yeah, of course. How do you think we got the confession album? All right, so go alone. Don't go with anyone. And don't tell anyone, for goodness sake.
Yeah. If you're going to do this, this is like, here's why I could never go off the grid, Tom, or disappear. You have to do things like methodically. Like you can't disappear tomorrow.
Right. You can if you've set everything up.
Yeah, oh, exactly.
And that's ideal.
But like if you're listening to this being like, oh, disappearing, that sounds good. Maybe I'll disappear tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. No, you're going to need at least a couple of weeks to set things up.
Oh, yeah.
Years if you're smart, if you really don't want to be found.
Also, doing this episode, I did worry about, like, if I go missing, people are going to be like, oh, he talked about all this stuff, and then nobody's going to try and find me.
Well,
if I go missing, try and find me. Somebody took me, for God's sake.
Well, that's the other thing. If you are doing like Google searches like I did today of like how to disappear completely, or if you've downloaded this podcast onto your phone, probably wait a while before you
downloaded
disappear.
That Radiohead song.
Yeah. Burn your copy of Kid A.
Yeah.
And any bootlegs from that era.
Which there were a lot.
There were a lot.
Was a heavy bootleg era.
And they've been playing that song since like the OK Computer sessions.
Yeah. If you've got old versions of it, get rid of them.
If you have a concert ticket from the OK Computer tour, which was long, that might even have been a Ben's era. That might have been kicking around. Look, anything from 94 to 2003 Radiohead.
You know what?
Burn.
I would say to be safe, even if you went to any Amnesiacs shows.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were still sometimes playing that song.
Well, a lot of people were saying that Amnesiac was a sister album to Kid A. Like, it came mostly from the same sessions. So, like, anybody
to be safe.
Yeah, just burn it all.
So that's rule number 2.
Yeah.
And burn any Radiohead stuff,
Anybody will tell you that. Any CIA agent will tell you. That's a lot of them would say that's number 1.
I already said prepare ahead of time. Oh, so here's one that I actually realized I've been doing this anyway. Is
kissing your cousin?
I I told you that in confidence.
Sorry, Tom.
Call. I mean, I haven't been doing this, which is changing things, but I do this when I sign up for things. Call up places and change details.
Ooh,
so
what do you mean, and how have you been doing this?
So like call your credit card company and your bank and stuff and be like, my phone number changed. It's not 555-5555. It's 555-5556.
But what if they need to contact you?
They won't need to when you disappear.
I would pay all my bills before I disappeared.
I read an accounting of somebody who's currently on the lam that wrote like an article about how to disappear, and he literally filed his taxes because he was like, "Yeah,
you don't want
I think
bounty
this might be
hunters
how
also
they
hunting
get me."
it. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the biggest things is like make it so there's not really that big of a reward to find you. Like make it so nobody really gives a shit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it, at least in America, boils down to like if only the state's looking for you, they've only got so many resources.
And only so much interest.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much they can get out of you.
Yeah. But if the federal government's looking for you, well, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
And then if Interpol's looking for you, look
With
out.
their seminal album, Turn on the Bright Lights.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
That was their seminal album, yeah.
Withdraw all your money, but do it slowly.
Yeah, don't do it all at once.
Don't do it all at once.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. Cash is king.
Yeah.
No credit card. And even like I was reading somewhere about how like prepaid credit cards, it's changed. Like you can't really buy prepaid credit cards without there being a trail anymore. Which makes sense because I'm sure that's what every criminal was doing.
Yeah. What I would do, and I haven't seen this on any of the websites, but I think to be extra, if let's say you're like in 3 years, I want to like disappear,
Mm-hmm.
and you have like a good amount of money because you should probably save your money for a while.
The biggest thing is, I mean, the reason why Whitey Bulger was able to hide for 16 years is when they found him, he had $800,000 in cash.
Yeah. But he was also a mobster. I'm not a mobster, Tom.
Well, that's what you
There's
say.
no such thing as the mafia. Say it.
You need money because a lot of people get caught because if you're on the lam, you know, you can't be like, oh, well, I'll assume a fake identity and then become a corporate executive. Like, no, you have to work off the books.
Right.
And even if you have like a great fake ID and everything, like you're taking a huge risk.
Yeah, don't think you're going to start a new, like, legit life. Anymore.
Yeah, no.
That's the number one mistake.
Well, and that's why...
how I got caught the last 3 times I was trying to go on the land.
And that's how Whitey Bulger was so successful because...
Well, he wasn't, ultimately. He went and saw a movie, and apparently some cop with a bad accent caught him.
No, that wasn't even how he got caught. That's what I'm saying. He did so many insane things that nobody caught him.
Yeah.
They went on a tour at Alcatraz and took pictures of him, like, pretending to be behind bars.
That's right. You can't resist if you're Whitey Bulger.
But I think one of the biggest reasons was that when he did this, he was like 65. So it was like, oh, this couple's retired.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they don't work but they still have money. Yeah, it's fine.
So save your money for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But then what I would do is start being real weird with it. Like take out like a third of it and put it in like some random like switch all the time. Like put like part of your money in Bank of America, but then some of it in like credit unions and like always be like switching and closing accounts for like years.
Well, yeah, that's
that way they'd be like, I don't know where to fucking look for this guy's assets.
One of the biggest things you should keep your assets in cash if you can.
No, but like, so when you finally do,
right.
Because like, oh yeah, like 5 years ago, he put like $8,000 into a Chase bank, but then 6 months later withdrew $6,000 and put it in a Bank of America, then came back and took $1,500 and put it in this credit union, but then put like 1,500 more back in from like just keep everybody confused.
So this one guy I read about, one of the things he did was
Start doing that anyway.
he established like 10 different identities where it was his identity, but just with like different middle names and different birth dates, like, but still around the same time, so he could pass for that age.
You think I could pass for 20?
No,
You haven't seen me without a beard. I got a baby face, Tom.
Tim. No, I don't. You're 35. You can't pass for 20.
Have you? When's the last time you saw me when I unbearded?
Probably that time that I said you looked like you were sick. I was worried about you.
Yeah, that's another thing. Pretend that you're sick or get sick.
Yeah, just get sick. No, actually, a huge thing is gain or lose a tremendous amount of weight. Because think about how many times you've seen...
I'd have to gain since I'm so svelte.
Think about how many times you've like run into somebody that you knew 5-10 years ago, but they've gained or lost a tremendous amount of weight. And they're like, hey, it's me. Like, they come right up to you and you're like, huh? Oh, my God. Oh, holy shit. Wait, you're you?
Or when you see the pictures of dead Elvis on the toilet, you're like, that's Elvis?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he rarely performed on a toilet, so that's why you don't... There are no pictures of him on the toilet, are there?
I don't know. No. His like second cousin took a picture of him in the coffin and sold that to the tabloids.
Well, a coffin's not a toilet, Tim, as I've told you 1,000 times.
Many people have told me that. So many people, in fact, that I'm thinking of going off the grid for a while.
But just establish dead ends for people. This one guy that I was reading about who had set up all these like aliases that were like very close to the truth, but just fuck with everyone. He had the U.S. Marshals after him for a cybercrime that was completely fabricated, just because he wanted to create like a completely different dead end for people to go chase down. The biggest thing is you've got to realize that the people looking for you, whether it's the law or the mob or whoever, have finite resources. And the more you can keep them, chasing their own tail, running after stuff, the better.
Cut your ties with your loved ones.
I already said that.
No, but like in like a
in earlier episodes.
Heartbreaking.
Nothing to do with this.
In a heartbreaking way. In a way that like makes your oldest and dearest friends really bummed out that like, look.
No, this one. So the one thing that I keep referring to is there's a crack.com article that somebody wrote while on the lam.
Well, that seems
well dubious. Yeah.
You seem hung up on people like on the lam who have done something horrible, and I don't want to help those people out, Tom.
This guy claimed he did not, that he was falsely accused. They didn't kill his wife. It's a one-armed man. But he was on the run.
I don't care, Tom.
But literally, this guy left a suicide note and ran.
Nice.
Didn't tell anyone. Later felt like a little bit bad, so like somehow contacted his wife.
Don't
to
feel
tell
bad.
her.
Never ever feel bad.
Somehow contacted his wife, told her like I'm all right, but then like dropped back off the grid. And he was like, a year later, I tried to contact her again, and like her phone was turned off and stuff, and I Googled, and apparently she had like filed for a divorce, and it was like, yeah, well, what do you expect? You tell your wife, yeah.
Was he like, what a jerk?
What
a B-word.
No, the biggest thing is that obviously this guy was guilty of the crime he was accused of, that he was running from. Buy new clothes. All right. Buy new clothes and change your style. So Tim, you'd have to like give up the steampunk thing and become just like
What about my top hats with the clocks in them, though?
I know you've spent a lot of money on that, but you're gonna have to give them up.
What about my really long coats with the golden buttons?
You're gonna have to start wearing short coats with black buttons. You want to blend in.
That's true.
But you have to change your style.
I've been pretty normcore for the last few, but like, so here's the deal: if I was gonna go on the lam, I'd have to get like
you'd have to become steampunk.
Yeah, I'd have to get more flamboyant in a way. Like, I feel like that's counterintuitive, but just the kind of counterintuitive that I like.
A big thing, a thing that gives people
I wear
away.
exclusively blue and gray clothes.
Oh,
so we'll
me
have to
too.
wear like bright colors.
Yeah. You're going to have to be like, I'm yellow.
I'm a yellow man.
Yeah. And you would have to change your shoes. That's a big thing.
Change your shoes.
Change your shoes, man. This is
Now this is the shit that I'm here for, man.
getting into, not to get into other parts of this book, but if you think you're being followed, check out the shoes of the person following you. Everything else is very easy to change. Shoes are not easy to change. That's how you track somebody.
Tom, I can never give up my bean boots.
Book flights and trips to places you don't go.
Yes, but they'll know that you don't get on the plane. That's the thing that I'm.
Hand a ticket to somebody else.
But
Well, not a plane, but do that with buses and trains and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And just be like, hey, buddy, you want to try your
Yeah,
chances
just find
in
a homeless
Philadelphia?
man. Yeah.
Or like take a flight to Philadelphia, but then, drive to New York City. Something like that.
Right.
But like,
Carjack, like do a carjacking.
don't do a
and take
carjacking.
Okay.
No,
don't do a
actually,
carjacking.
One of the biggest tips is don't ever drive again.
Really?
Which is what makes it very tough. Because all it takes is being pulled over one time.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you
what
could
with
be
Uber
toast.
and everything these days? But that's all
Exactly.
tied to a goddamn credit card.
Yeah.
They got you everywhere you go. Let's start an Uber for scumbags and people on the lam.
I
Where
think
you-
that's regular Uber.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's employee only
Yeah,
Uber.
I guess you could just take taxis.
Yeah.
What about phones? What about smartphones? So,
Well,
like,
no
you have to
smartphone.
get rid of your, obviously, current cell phone.
Here's actually a way that you could keep in touch with somebody you love, but it's a lot of work.
And you shouldn't do it. That's rule freaking number 1. But, like, let's break the rules. We got 2 minutes left.
Go to 3 different stores and buy prepaid cell phones in cash.
Like,
Okay.
years in advance.
I
If you
mean,
can.
as
far in advance as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But buy, the cheapest, shittiest phone.
Mm-hmm.
What you're going to do is give your loved one phone 1, and you're going to say, you can't make any outgoing calls on this. When I contact you, I'm going to call you. Now you take phone number 2 and you program that to forward calls to phone number 1. And then you take phone number 3 and you smash phone number 2. You don't have to have phone number 3 in your hand while you smash phone number 2, but it's not a bad idea.
I lost track of this whole. I lost the thread on this.
And there you go.
There you go.
That's how, you know what, Tim? You could be John FBI right now saying the same thing. I lost the thread. Basically, you're
Is
going to...
that the current director of the FBI?
John
John
FBI.
FBI? He was born into it.
Basically, I mean, you're already pretty safe with 2 cash-bought prepaid phones. But if you're only calling the one through another one, and then that one doesn't even exist anymore, then you're just adding enough complexity. But even when you do that, according to this book, you should still change those out once a month.
Yeah, I feel like if you're on the lam,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're disappearing, you should be smashing electronics almost on a daily basis.
Even if you don't own them.
Yeah, carjack people. No. What did you say? Don't carjack.
Don't carjack
Don't
people.
carjack people.
Don't even drive a car.
Yeah.
Let
yeah.
alone steal a car that
Okay,
doesn't belong to you.
Right. Okay.
Let alone steal a car that doesn't belong to you from a person who's currently driving the car.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's just good life advice in general, I think.
It's true. And wear a hat indoors.
No, that raises a red flag.
No.
Can I still wear my trademark Sully cap, Tom?
Tim, you'd have to give up the Sully cap.
Well, I'm not doing it.
You'd have to start wearing, I don't know, a different cap. And
You bought me a cap based on the movie Sully.
it wasn't based on. It was a promotional cap for the movie Sully.
Yeah, and I make a point to wear that literally every time I get on an airplane.
What
do you think-
you impressed the pilot?
What do you think people think of me? I just think it's funny to go through like.
They think this guy's not even going anywhere. He just like explains a lot.
Yeah, what do you think like my seatmate thinks?
I don't know. Well, and sometimes the like pilot is there when you're coming in.
Yeah, I always I cap to him.
A tip of the Sully cap to you, sir.
Yeah.
I'm
hoping one of these days it's gonna be Sully himself flying the plane.
No, he's retired now.
Yeah, but
Tim.
sometimes he's like, I just need one more flight. But that's what I'd be
one more
worried
flight.
about.
Oh yeah.
You're a little out of practice.
No, you know what? Here's the thing about Sully. You know, he knows when to fold them.
Yeah. Nobody's got better instincts than Chesley's Sully Sullenberger.
Absolutely. Look through history. Nobody's had better instincts than that man.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some people said he could have landed the plane back on the runway, but but whatever.
Yeah, but like he got to
Nobody-
retire.
he
He
got-
did the smartest thing. He saved all those lives, and he got like a movie out of it.
Yeah, and he got to ruin a plane, which I would love to
I'd
do.
love to ruin a plane. All right. Well, if you like the show,
You can check out tcgt.com to find out more. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Twitter @complete guide. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram @Tom Reynolds.
you can follow me on those things at your pal Tim.
If you want to support the show, you can support our sponsors. You can also check out tcgt.com/Amazon for your Amazon shopping, where we get a little piece of the action, as it were.
Fuck yeah.
And tcgt.com/pledge, where you can check out our Patreon, where you get a bunch of fun bonuses, like weekly episodes of Fast Food Friday
Which
that
we
we
are
are
going to catch up
behind on, but we'll catch up on.
You are going to get a data dump of
You're gonna
Fast
get a
Food
binge.
Fridays. That's going to be like, this is too much. You guys should actually stop doing
I'm
this.
puking.
Yeah, but I promise that's coming, and it will line up. And when you do sign up for that, like you get access to all the
you get
back
the old
stuff,
ones.
So
Yeah.
like,
tcgt.com/tour. We're doing shows in London in September.
the London Podcast Festival.
And we are exploring other European
We have started an
locations.
exploratory committee. We're starting a listening tour of Scotland.
That'd be amazing if we were like, we're doing a listening show. We're not going to talk, but you tell
guys
us
just tell
what
us
you think,
what's on your mind.
and we'll ignore it.
Yeah. Tom,
Mm-hmm.
would you do you ever see, like, I know for me,
Mm-hmm.
there's a 0% chance, 0.000, like there's absolutely no chance I will ever disappear. Because, like, I just don't have the patience for it. You are, like, I'm not that methodical. I can't build some, like, I always think things are going to be easier than they're going to be, and that, like, I can take shortcuts in life.
Right.
And, like, so, like, no, it's not for me. Like, I'd be too stressed out all the time.
And you're too blessed to be stressed.
I'm too goddamn blessed to be stressed. I feel like you have legitimately, like, been building towards, like,
This is my ultimate plan.
yeah, and I think, like, you will leave enough clues that, like, we'll go back and be like, oh, Tom did say goodbye in a very roundabout way, in a coded way.
Yeah.
But and I think you're smart doing this. I think you started this podcast knowing that you'd eventually go off the grid and then just be like, go on the run and disappear. You could be like, well, at least my loved ones will have hours upon hours
Right,
of me,
which is just
and they'll
as
get
good, if
fucking
not
sick
better.
of me. Yeah.
I mean, I will say this, which I even feel like I shouldn't say it because because there will be a record, but I'm not going to jail for anything ever. If there is a chance that I'm going to jail, I'm out of here. I'm flying the coop. I mean, I shouldn't go to jail. I've done nothing wrong. End the episode there. No, but like,
Maybe we should. Oh, and there was also speculation, Tom, that this would be the perfect episode to do.
oh yeah, no, I said that ideally this would be the last episode of the Complete Guide to Everything with no further contact from
Yeah,
either
like we
of us.
wouldn't mention that it was the last
No.
episode, and
And-
it would just be how to disappear completely.
Yeah, and
and
then
then-
it'd be like this Twitter account's been deleted.
Yep.
Not even deleted. It would just be never tweet again.
Right. And that's not what's happening, or is
No,
that
it's not what's happening.
It might be what's happening.
But like honestly, like if I were in a legal situation where like I'm a very good boy, as the record will show, I do not commit crimes. But like, say I was in a Richard Kimball situation where like I realized like, oh, I didn't do this, but like, oh God, this really looks like I did it. I'm gonna get railroaded. I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
I would hire F. Lee Bailey and the rest of the dream team. They'd get me out of it. They'd pull some tricks. Just pretend the glove doesn't fit your hand.
That's true. Well, if you have that luxury, but yeah, I'm not going to jail. I'll tell you that much. So I'll figure something out. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.